Hey YouTube, what's happening? It's Richard, founder of Short-Term Rental University and professional real estate developer. In today's video, I just want to share with you a little bit of personal insight as to what's happening here in my Jackson Hole Airbnb, so that hopefully you can learn a little bit about pricing and location and sort of my interpretation of what's happening with mine. And I'm going to encourage you to think about your listing in a similar vein and start to understand what drives people to book and at what price and in what season and so on. So without further ado, let's get into it. But first, many of you may not know, we also have a Short-Term Rental University podcast. It's really great. It's got its own YouTube channel. So since you're watching this on YouTube, go check out the Short-Term Rental University podcast channel. And we also have all the audio on Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, etc. But the podcast is lit and you'll want to be a part of it. It's longer format content, so we go deeper and more granular. You get to know Eric and I a little bit better. So let's continue. So for those of you who are new to the channel, I bought this place here in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where we're filming this. And I've been Airbnb-ing the place downstairs, which is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath for the last 2 winters. I came to Jackson Hole for skiing and for the winter, although many people think it's better, myself included, in the summertime. Now, because I live here, I wanted to live where most locals live and where there's most opportunity to go out to restaurants and so on and so forth, and that's in the town of Jackson. So I have the best location in the town of Jackson, and it's about a 15 or 20 minute drive when I go skiing up at the mountain in Teton Village. So if you were purely focused on skiing and that was your thing and that's the only reason you were coming, you would probably want to be up at the mountain. Now, when you're at the mountain, it's more expensive and it's much more seasonal. It's really there's very little to do there in the summer, but it's a great place to be if you want ski and ski out, you want to be on the mountain and so on. So for me, when I bought this place, it was because I wanted to live here year round. It's a great place to be, especially in the summertime, and it's very accessible to the mountain in the winter. It's a 15, 20-minute drive. The first couple of seasons that I was here, the snow was unbelievable, record-breaking snow. From the moment I got here until the end of the season, the snow was spectacular, and my place downstairs was booked, and we kept increasing prices, and it kept clearing, and it was working really well, and everything was honky-dory, and I was just really excited about the winters because I knew the summers would be fantastic. This winter, though, is the first time that I've experienced something slightly different. When I got here in December, it turned out that the winter in December was not that great. The snow was not that strong. And I was really kind of surprised that my bookings took a big hit. And I'll quantify that with you in a little bit, but really I started to think about, well, why is that? And what does that exactly mean? And what I kind of realized was a few things that are important in all of our businesses. The first is, I think people are booking later and later, and especially in winter and for seasonal activities that require the weather to cooperate. So for instance, if I was booking a ski trip, my buddies and I, we all wanted to go somewhere skiing and we had a date picked out, we might wait until we had some clarity on the weather to make sure that that was a good time to go. And if it turned out that where we wanted to go wasn't having a good snow season, we might just pivot and say, we'll go to Utah, we'll go to California, we'll go to British Columbia, or we'll go to Jackson. We have a lot of different places, and because there's so much inventory on the Airbnb platform and in hotels and condos, we really don't have that pressure to book in advance. We can now delay, pause, take a look at the weather, determine which location has the best conditions for our chosen sport, and then just book there. And so what ended up happening was we were down about 20% in our occupancy, and our average price is about 20% lower than last year also. So the combination of those two, we didn't have a very good December, which got me to thinking, well, so people are booking later, what else is happening? What else, as I peel back the onion and I look underneath, what else is happening? And what I kind of realized is this: the reason the first 2 years with the incredible snow conditions, we didn't feel that was everything on the mountain was probably booked. And so what ends up happening is there's sprawl. People go further and further and further and further. And so even though I'm in the primary location for summer, I'm in a secondary location for winter. And so when we have really banner, incredible years, the primary location is sold out, the secondary location is sold out, maybe even something further, the tertiary location could be sold out too. But when we have a so-so year, there could be availability on the mountain. And so now everybody coming to Jackson may just stay up in the mountain unless they had a very specific reason to stay in town. So while there's availability up in the mountain, nobody's necessarily coming to town. And so what ends up happening is the inventory, like my unit that's in town, has less occupancy, and then the dynamic pricing engines and the way that we adjust our pricing goes down too. There's a lot of property managers and professional property managers, and they use dynamic pricing, and so they see the same things that I see. And it got me to realize that, even though I have two different seasons, I have the summer season, which is my peak best season, and I also have a very strong winter season. I can't necessarily count on that winter season in a so-so or soft winter period, because there could be better deals and better availability up on the mountain, which is the primary place in the winter. So as you start to analyze your business, take a look at the numbers, not only the occupancy, but also the revenue, and start to hypothesize, why am I having these challenges, or what's changed year over year? One thing is for sure, there's more and more hosts, there's more and more competition, there will be pricing pressure, none of which we can't overcome, but we owe it to ourselves to try as best as possible to understand it so that we can influence it and grow beyond it, and not just be like clueless and wondering what happened. I know exactly what happened here, and it's caused me to recognize this primary location, secondary location, tertiary location, strong peak season, secondary season, and I'm starting to do more and more work on all of my listings in that framework, and I can't wait to share it with you. I'd love to hear your comments below. Have you experienced something similar where you're having lower occupancy and lower rates in one of your units, and why? Let us know why you believe that to be the case, because as we read your comments, an aha moment might happen where we realize, like, oh my gosh, that's what it is. So the more we share, the more we grow, the better hosts we are, and the more competitive we are relative to everyone else who's not studying and doing their work on YouTube and on the podcast and beyond. And as always, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel, friends. Thank you. Hey, thanks so much for watching that video. I just want to share with you that the HostSaver one-click website tool is now live. Like, people are on it, they're using it all the time, and we really want to encourage you to take control of your financial future by building your own brand and building your own business and getting off the dependency of the platforms. Take charge and control of your own future and develop relationships with your clients, the people that have come and stayed in your home. Tell them about discounts or specials that you have. Tell them that you expanded. Tell them anything that you want. Write blogs and start to get your own traction, right? Attract your own tribe using your own website. This is what businesses do. It's 2020. The time is now for people like me and you to build our own website and become platform agnostic. So go ahead and click in the description below to register for the HostSaver. One click and you have your own custom, absolutely gorgeous, works flawlessly website. Can't wait to see you there. Let's go, friends.